I am Marion Greer. I'm the admissions director, and I have our principal and a lot of the teachers that your children would have in the homeschool program here, and our homeschool coordinator, and you're going to hear from everyone and hear a little bit about what they do. I am going to start us off with just an overview. I want to pray for us first before we get going and just turn the evening over to the Lord. Father, we just thank you so much for tonight and just for family and for children, and that you have blessed us with them to be able to educate. And Lord, just guide these families as they are making choices for what is best for their family. I pray that you just give them information, wisdom, insight. Help us to be clear with what we share and be able to answer their questions. Lord, just take care of us. Bless this evening in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, I'm gonna mute Heather there. Okay, so our homeschool program, a lot of you know a little bit about it, but students come on Thursdays from 8 to 2 and attend our co-curricular classes. We have two groups, so we break them into a younger group and an older group, which typically end up being the homeschool kindergarten first and second, and then third, fourth, and fifth. And they will have a teacher that gets them to each location throughout the day, meets them, and works with them, with all of our teachers that teach the classes. They get to go to lunch, they get to go to PE, recess, and then you'll meet the teachers that teach our art, science, library, Spanish, music, and I think I missed library and art. So those are the classes you're going to be going to. So I'm going to get us started off by introducing you to Lisa Pipes, our principal for the elementary, and she'll just welcome you and share a little bit.
Hi there, my name is Lisa Pipes, and I am the elementary principal at Faith. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on me because it's the other ladies that you see on this screen that are what make our homeschool program so fabulous. We love Thursdays. We love having the homeschoolers on campus. They're a lot of fun. They have extra enthusiasm, maybe because it's the first time they've gone through the lunchroom line or gone to a PE class. So we just enjoy the energy that they bring to the building, and they're so sweet, just so sweet. But what you need to know is that you get amazing resources with these women, not just curriculum wise. We use with our full-time kids, they go to STEAM, but homeschool gets our STEAM program, our science teacher and our engineer teacher and our art teacher broken up. So they get it kind of in a different way. So you have co-curricular classes like music and Spanish and PE, but you also get that benefit of STEAM, which has been refined for the past 3 years and is really quite exceptional. And then you have the ladies behind the resources, which, to keep from exaggerating, I won't say they're the best in the nation, but absolutely the best in Texas. Master teachers, every last one of them, starting with our facilitators, who really and truly, they are your go-to people. They are the ones that make sure that you have all the communication that you need. And Cherry Besh is the facilitator for our little ones, and she's not here tonight. She is ill, but Doris Meyer has been with us since, I believe she said 2004. So you talk about a lady who knows it all, is Doris Meyer, and she is the reason it is a well-oiled machine. So I am going to pass it to Doris and let her talk to you a little bit, but of course I'll be here if you have any questions.
Awesome. Okay.
Hi, I'm Doris Meyer, as y'all have been told. I am the proud mother of 2 girls who have attended Faith Christian full-time. Jessica is now a doctor at Baylor Scott White in internal medicine in her 3rd year residency, and she will be going to a fellowship in Arkansas. She'll be going to the University of Arkansas at the School of Medicine Science. Can you tell I'm very proud? I am very proud. My other daughter, Catherine, graduated from Faith, and she is now the head soccer coach at Faith. She has won 3 TAPS Division II state championships for the school, and I'm very proud of that too. So I share that with you to just know that I am I'm very proud of them, but I'm also very proud of other kids that I've met. I've met a lot of kids in the program, and it really has been a joy in my life. People say, well, why do you do it, Doris? You've done it for so long. And it's just like Lisa said, the kids bring so much energy, so much enthusiasm. And it's so wonderful to partner with y'all, as we all want our children to be authentic Christian leaders. And there's a team of teachers here, I can tell you, because I've been at the school a long time, they are the best of the best. And they care and they share the word of God. And it's just not a verse stuck here or stuck there. They talk about God as the creator, and he is sovereign, and he is part of their life, and they're special. And it's so good to hear that. And I know that that's a message that many children in this world do not hear. They just don't hear it anymore. And even in church, sometimes they don't hear it. But we want them to know that they are special, and we work really hard to make the day fun, and they make our day fun. We have lots of joy in doing that. And it's great that we have a leader like Dr. Smith, who really supports the homeschool program and really gives us a lot of encouragement.
Wonderful. Thank you, Doris. Okay, we're going to meet our first co-curricular teacher, Jessica Kirby, and she will introduce herself and tell you what she teaches. She's unmuted.
Hi guys, I'm Jessica Kirby. I teach music. So I have all of the kiddos K through 5 in the school, actually pre-K through 5. You guys, homeschool, I'll have all of your kiddos in elementary school. But one of the things that we didn't mention before was that they also, I don't know, maybe you did, they also get to go to chapel once a week. And my husband and I help lead the chapel band. We're the student-led chapel band as well. So that's pretty awesome thing that they get to do. Like they said, they come to us once a week for 30 minutes each year, because some of the kids I might have for 5 years in a row, or sometimes maybe even 6, I rotate quite a bit of the curriculum throughout. So each year is going to look completely different than the year before, but we always try to cover the same kind of amount of subjects. We'll do composers and some of their works that they have written. That could be in the form of, biographies, but it could be movement. It could be in a lot of different forms. Definitely listening. The students will compose music. They'll read music. They'll write music. We did a whole sight singing lesson this year, actually. Some years we'll pull out the fun recorder that everybody loves so much. Sometimes we'll do ukuleles. We play percussion, Orff instruments, if you're familiar with Orff. This last year, they were totally hooked on a unit with boom whackers, which are these really, really long, colorful plastic tubes that are all keyed like a piano. And so they can play lots of pieces with that. And they didn't want to stop. I had to stop them, but they didn't want to stop with that. But anyway, we have a great time. I guess my focus with them is, they have to have an interest in something. They have to have something to grab onto. So if you make it fun, you make it something that they can become interested in, then they're open to learn quite a bit. So that's what I do in my room.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Kirby. One thing I failed to thank you for mentioning chapel, by the way. One thing I failed to mention also, as teachers are talking, if you want to use the chat, if you think of a question, go ahead and type it in, and then we'll address it at the end. So that's open for you too. Okay, we're going to move on to Kathy Brooks.
Hi, I'm Kathy Brooks, and I teach PE. And I have been at Faith since the beginning. My kids started at Faith and graduated from Faith. And I've taught, I think, PE for about 18 years here at Faith. So I love teaching PE, playing games. They come for 30 minutes, and they will integrate with our full-time students. So we try to pair them up with someone they'll work well together for the exercise and stretches. And then we go into game time. And with 3rd through 5th grade, we do sports units. We will teach the skills and then play tournament games or just play the games of the major sports. We also will teach them tennis, pickleball, disc golf, kickball, their favorite, Doris, right? Floor hockey, spike ball, and then we'll do all kinds of games. And the younger kids will introduce the skills and play a variation of those games. We don't really do the team sports with them, but we will play a lot of games with them. We also will work on just their skills, gross motor skills with the younger kids a lot. We work on character and really push Christ-like sportsmanship. So in PE, we really get to do hands-on right then, take care of, how to treat their teammates, and sportsmanship's huge in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We will move on to Spanish.
Okay, well, my name is Brenda Manassas, and it is a pleasure to meet you. Spanish is super fun, and I try to have a worship song every month for them to learn with motions. And then some of the things is very basic, but at the same time very fun through songs and games. They will learn greetings or goodbyes. They will learn how they feel, their age, and basic communication, like where they live, where they're from, the colors, the numbers, shapes, days of the week and months and seasons, the alphabet, a little bit of history or cultural notes depending on the celebrations of the month. I don't know, other things that are basic, like the parts of the body, the fruits and vegetables and things like that. So just things that are family members. So they learn basically through songs and games. And it's very fun, the 30 minutes that we're together. They love to come to Spanish because it's just, I love to have them, but it's something just practical that they can use with someone anywhere. They can use we try to make conversations or little dialogues for them to be able to use what they are learning right away.
Okay, thank you so much. And it's so fun when Whitney and I get to tour you around the building, which I know we can't do right now, but it is always so fun to walk in these classrooms and see the kids engaged, and they're right. They never want to leave the class. They're so excited. Okay, we're going to go to library now with Jennifer Mitchell.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I have been at Faith for 11 years, and my children I have one that has graduated and one is in the high school. But at library, we really work together with the other two STEAM teachers, Mrs. Gorman and Mrs. Lawden. And so I'll read a fun story that might have something to do with the science experiment or the artwork that they're going to do in art. And so it's really kind of a collaboration between the three classes. They do get to check out 2 books each week, and then they bring them back. Some of the times the younger kids, we just do a fun story time. And some of the times we actually do things like, I know Mrs. Pipes referred to engineering, and I'm the engineering part of STEAM. And so we do makerspace, and we build and we create. And for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say that we're talking about, well, I just thought of one. I just forgot about one. Let's say we're reading the story, It's Not My Chair. They may build with Legos or Connects, or maybe just with even paper, a chair that goes with the story. So then they may go to science and do some more stuff with building and stuff like that in science. So we really try to all three work together.
Thank you so much. And so you're going to meet, the next 2 you'll meet are the other teachers that'll go with Mrs. Mitchell and STEAM, and we'll go to Mrs. Lawden. Is she unmuted?
There we go.
There we go.
Hi guys, I'm Heather Lawden, and I have 2 kids that have, one graduated from Faith and is at A&M now, and the other one is about to graduate right now, so super sad. But so we love the school, obviously. We've been there since 2011. So that's just a little bit about me personally. But so I'm the science teacher, and I love science. Ask anybody that knows me. I'm kind of a dork about it, actually, which is a good thing for a science teacher, I think. I have a background in environmental science. I used to be an environmental planner before I was a teacher. And now I'm an elementary science teacher, and I teach general science, so physical science, earth science, space, all the way through life science. And I just actually earned a master's degree in STEAM teaching. So I just really am passionate about this stuff. We all are. I'm glad Jennifer gave the example that you did about the way we kind of collaborate on our units. It's super important to us to take the scientific principles, the artists that they're learning about in art. Usually it's a physics principle that they're learning about with engineering, but to take those principles and to teach those kids that they're going to use all that stuff in every different part of their lives. So there is art in science, and there is engineering in art and things like that. And so we work really hard, and we get super excited about our units when we sit down to plan them, because honestly, it's super easy, because there's so many things that we just think of. We could do this, we could do that, we could do that. We have to cut things, as a matter of fact, like usually at the last minute, because we don't have enough time to do all that we want to do. I was going to use the example, Miss Mitchell, of when we were learning about snowflakes, winter weather. So for the younger kids, weather is a big theme in science. Winter weather, and we learned about Snowflake Bentley. It's if you know the man that was the first person to photograph snowflakes. Learned about him with Miss Mitchell with a story. Miss Gorman helped them through several cool art projects. And then in science, we played with that, that stuff you add water to and it like gets 100 times its size, that fake snow stuff. So we played with that, and we also learned about how it works. It's actually the stuff that's in diapers. And it has super absorbency powers, and we just talked about how it all works. And so we have fun, but we learn a lot, and we love your kids so much. They're so sweet, and we only get to see them once a week, and they're always so excited to see us too. It's a huge ego boost for us, because they want to give us hugs, and they're excited to see us, and we just love it. I actually, when I first started at Faith, I did what Doris does. Is Miss Besh on here tonight? No? Okay. So I actually was the Miss Besh. I had the younger kids, and it was my job to lead them around all day. And so that's when I really became familiar with the program as a leader, before I was even their science teacher. And I just was like, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing program. These kids are getting, how many is it, Miss Greer? 7 classes?
Yes.
7, they're getting a music lesson, a science lesson. Can you imagine how much time it would take you to drive around to kinder music, and then go to a paint by number art studio or whatever, and how much that would cost? So just the value of our program, and that they're getting all the different classes all in one day per week, and they make really good friends too. Mm-hmm. And that's neat to see those relationships develop. And I tend to talk too long, so I'm going to stop now. But I'm just super enthusiastic about the program. I think it's awesome. So
thank you so much. Yes, and that's what makes you awesome, all of y'all. We will go to Mrs. Gorman, and she'll round out the little STEAM part. Make sure she's unmuted. Oh, there. Okay. Yay.
Okay, I jumped in a little bit late in the game. Sorry, guys. I have 2 boys, and my youngest is turning 11 tomorrow. So we just did a big drive-by birthday parade with several other kids in his class. So I was hurrying to make it back and get to be on this with y'all tonight. So I don't know, I missed it and I couldn't get the volume to, are we just introducing it first and then, so.
Yes, just introduce yourself and then tell a little bit about your sweet class.
Okay, so I am Monique Gorman and I am the elementary art teacher and as well as part of STEAM, and Jennifer and Heather just said it great. I'll give you a couple other little things about the STEAM, but art is really kind of a unique animal because you are getting art in itself. You're learning a lot of the masters of the artists. And I have we have a 3-year program that we go through, the curriculum that's called Meet the Masters. And so they're not learning about the same artist every year. We circulate through 3 years of about 7 or 8 artists a year. And then once we go through those, if your child is still in homeschool, even if we went back to the first one, they wouldn't be doing the same project. So that's kind of nice. They would just be learning about the artist again, but their artwork would be a little bit more involved. So with the artist, they learn about the artist's style and techniques, and just really, I love that even at an itty bitty age, they get to hear and learn about the history of art. And then they apply it through the projects that we do. Whatever artists we might be learning about, as we learn their style, then we take it and create something with that artist's particular style. And then we kind of weave the whole art in with exactly what Heather was saying. What's so fun, and I love to tell kids, and that's what's so great about the STEAM. You might have someone that's a little bit more science-minded, and you might have someone that's a little either right brain, left brain, and how awesome they work together. And what people don't realize is how close science and art are. They work hand in hand all the time, and you don't typically think that. And they do. And a lot of the greats were very much scientists and artists. And so it's just so much fun to get to bring that in, or what Jennifer with the engineering, it's all very, very closely related. So we have a lot of fun together. The 3 of us are not only teammates, but very dear friends. And we just love collaborating and getting really fun units going that we think your kiddos will enjoy. Am I forgetting anything, girls?
Well, tell them about, for example, that you just had a homeschooler that was in the art.
Yes. Actually, the top 2 were. So we enter the Doodle for Google each year, which is a nationwide contest. It's huge. If you have a winner from your school, I think they get like a $30,000 scholarship, college scholarship, and $50,000 for their technology at school. So it would be really great if we won a national one. But we decided, since it's such a huge competition, to make kind of an in-house competition where faith families and friends get to vote. And we just did that. And the first place and second place were homeschoolers. Mm-hmm. And so the STEAM teachers, we went and drove around and hand delivered the ribbons to the kiddos just the other day. So
awesome. Yes, so they're involved in all different areas. So thank you for that. And something that I think Heather mentioned that made me think of this, for our homeschool families, we love you to be involved as much or as little as you'd like. So you are part of the faith family when you're in the homeschool program. We want you to come to football games and participate in those things. If we are having activities, galas, or something on the weekend, you come and be part of it. We would love that. We do a homeschool, or not a homeschool, we do elementary youth sports. And typically it would be cheer, maybe a flag football, a basketball, sometimes a soccer, depending on the interest for the different grades. And elementary homeschool are welcome to join in as well with that. That would be with full-time students. It's still through the city, it's parent coached, but we kind of work with, and Kathy might be able to speak a little more to that if it's our coaches. You want to say anything about that? Is she unmuted? Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything about the use?
It is through the parents coach those. So a lot of times some of the kids in the classroom want to play volleyball or something. And so that I'll have homeschool kids sometimes ask me about that, but that's done through the youth leagues.
Mm-hmm. But then get familiar faces there together with them. So that's just something I wanted to point out and mention. I am going to introduce you to Whitney Forchie, who works with me in admissions and who's fabulous. If you are working through the admissions process, she guides you and walks you through the checklist and makes sure you get everything done. She's going to kind of go over some of our question answers and see what we can do. And I'm going to unmute everyone. If it gets too crazy and you want to mute yourself if it's kind of loud, but I want you to be able to ask questions. I'm going to let her start off first.
Yes, it's so good to see everybody. And I know some of you, yes, we've already been in the admissions process and emailing back and forth a lot. So it's good to put faces with names if I haven't met you yet. Yes, we do have some people who have submitted questions in our chat, and feel free to keep doing that as we're answering questions. We'll keep watching, but I see some of our teachers have already answered some of the questions, but for anybody who doesn't have the chat up, teachers, I may have you recap your answer so that we can all hear and you can expound a little bit on that if you'd like to. So we did have a question, how many kids are in group? Because there is a younger group and an older group. The younger group is kindergarten, first and second graders, and then the older group is third, fourth, and fifth. Marion, I'm actually going to toss that one to admissions. Right there.
I'm going to try to get in some background noise here.
It might be mine. If you want to mute me, my husband has a Bible study.
Oh, good. There you go. Okay, Whitney, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Marion, do you want to answer the question about numbers in the younger group and the older group, just because admissions kind of handles juggling those numbers?
Yes, I sure will. So someone had asked about the numbers, and we have 18 in our older group, and then we have 15 in our younger group. We have reduced that one just a little bit with those, because some of the younger babies in there, we found it's just a little easier to have a smaller group.
Yeah. Okay, so we also have a question. What curriculum is the base of the work that the kids are working on from home? I'm Mrs. Pipes, our assistant principal, our elementary principal. I'm going to have you answer that if you don't mind.
I think I'm confused by the question. Are they asking about, because we teach the co-curse, so the STEAM program that we use is STEM Scopes. Mm-hmm. So the three ladies that you see up here, Miss Mitchell, Miss Lawton, and Miss Gorman, they use the science curriculum called STEM Scopes. And then Miss Gorman spoke a little bit about her art program called Meet the Masters. I will let Miss Kirby and Miss Senora Manassas talk about their curriculum that they use. And then also Coach Brooks, she also has lesson plans. It's just a little different when you talk about resources.
And I think part of that question may also be what curriculum are families using at home for their core subjects, like their language arts, their math, and their social studies. And the answer to that is whatever you want. Lisa, do you want to expound a little on that?
We took a little survey a while back, and it seems like my father's house, Becca, they all use different ones. I tried to, and if I had known, I would have gotten that sheet and brought it out here. There's a vast array of different curriculums they use, and Miss Meyer might be able to speak a little bit more to that, but they all use different ones. They all definitely had their opinion about the ones they didn't like, and this was just a Q&A we had together one time, and I'm trying to pull that from the recesses of my mind, but they do kind of vary across the board, what the different families use to teach those core subjects.
Does that kind of make sense to everybody? It's the when you're in school at Faith, you're doing your co-curricular classes here, but then when you're at home, you get to choose whatever core curriculum you want to do the rest of the week with your kids for math and social studies and those core subjects. You're choosing whatever you want to do at home. So we don't really have any kind of curriculum support for those subjects at Faith. Let's see, the next question is whether the homeschool kids are with the other kids who are going 5 days a week. Do they get behind? The answer to that is actually they are not in class with our full-time students, except Coach Brooks talked about in PE. Mrs. Pipes, remind me, are there any other classes where they're integrated with the full-time students?
No, they eat lunch in the classroom they eat lunch in the cafeteria with the other kids, but they sit at their table together. And then they go to PE with a grade level, but then all the other teachers get them by themselves.
Yeah, they kind of move together throughout the day as a group with the other kids, either in that younger group or the older group, so they are a class together. So no, they're not getting behind at all because they're all there that same day of the week, and they're not in the subjects with the kids that are there all 5 days. So definitely no falling behind there at all.
Hey, Whitney, I forgot to say, and by the way, this is my husband, John Brooks. He is the athletic director at the school and does a lot of other stuff, our leadership and a little bit. He wears many hats. But we in PE, we have 2 coaches in there all the time. But when homeschool comes that day, we have 3 coaches. So at times we may pull them out if they missed a skill. We may pull them out that day. And also we have coaches that teach those sports. A lot of them are in there with us. So that's an added bonus.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. We also have a question about Spanish, whether the words that they go over in Spanish are sent home for the parents to reinforce for the rest of the week. So could we unmute Ms. Manassas and have her answer that?
Okay, there we go.
Yes,
There you
I
go.
was gonna type the answer, but yes, everything they work during our time, they take a worksheet or something to work on at home. And whenever there's a song, I'll send the links to parents so they can also practice the songs, and kids know the motions most of the time. So we will practice it for a whole month, the song. But I mean, worksheets they do take home so they can practice their vocabulary. And I will let them know what they are working on during every week.
That's great. Thank you so much. I see another question on here. When is tuition due? And do you pay tuition in full at that time? The first thing that families do after they make it through the admissions process and are accepted, and if there's a spot, now if you're in a wait list situation, then this wouldn't happen until a spot opened up. But once a spot opens up and you decide to accept it, the first thing families do is meet with the head of our student billing office. Her name's Kara, and she's fabulous. And she goes over so many things to help you get integrated into the Faith family. But she, at that time, talks about different payment options. So once either June 1st or whenever you're accepted, whichever date is later, that's when tuition, when you will owe tuition. If you have let us know that you're going to come, that's when you owe it, but you don't have to pay it all in full at that time. You can pay it out throughout the year. There are several different plans. So Marion, do you want to add anything to that?
That's good. That's perfect.
Let's see. Let me look and see if we have it.
You know what, along the payment, I did see a question about sports. And if they do the youth sports, that is an additional cost, just parents pay through the city, if like you would be signing up for youth sports as usual. In the admissions process, I'll recap the fees that you would have since we're talking about tuition. You would have a $100 application fee, and then a $50 testing fee. And then once accepted, you would have, and you meet with Kara, you would pay a $100 registration fee that's annual each year with re-enrollment. And then you would have tuition. So that is how that is broken down.
That's good. I see one more question on here, and please continue to type questions if you want to submit any. And when we finish here in a minute, you're also welcome to just speak out and say if you have something. But I see a question here that asks, is there a suggestion on curriculum that would be best to help a student to transition to the on-campus classes in middle school? It's true that our middle school homeschool program looks a little bit different in the sense that the kids are on campus every day for the classes that they take at Faith. They don't carry a full load at Faith, but they can take up to 3 academic classes, and they come daily. So it is sort of a good step to transition kids into our, some of our core classes and into a full-time mode if you eventually want to do that. And Mrs. Pipes, I don't know if you want to address that here, if that's something you'd rather do kind of as a follow-up, if that is a little bit of a lengthy answer, but do you want to address that?
Well, what I've found is the parents know how their students learn best, and while there's a wide array of curriculum being used by our different parents, they'll know a lot. When you go through the admission process, you'll get your student will have scores, and we use stay nines, and it'll let you know if where they are. 5 is average, and so that'll give you a good gauge to let you know if the resource you're using is effective. And so I don't think we don't support any one resource, and we have found that the resources that are used, depending on diligence on the parents' part and what you do outside of school, has usually serves the purpose well. And it will and those admission tests will give you a lot of information as the parent to let you know how effective your resource is.
And feel free to follow up with us afterwards by phone or by email, and we can talk more about that if you have questions. Anyone that has questions after we get done here, please feel free to follow up, and we'd love to talk more in depth about any of these. Marion, do you want to answer that question? I saw you just typed.
I did I'll say it out loud so everybody can hear. We talked about if you were looking for the 2021, if you're looking for the next year, the 2021 year, now is the time. We're in action working, and we actually work all summer. So the challenge we have right now is our younger group. We are at capacity in our younger group. So any that go through the process and are accepted would be placed on a wait list, which is not a problem. Things can still shift around. So don't be super discouraged. But then if for some reason they could get in the middle of the year if something opened up, or if not, we would just kind of roll everything forward for the next year, and maybe we would update a few things. So we'll still use that information. But if for the 21-22 year, then next fall, we would love to have you for a tour, come see the classes. And then by about December, I would say, to get the application process started. Our first pool are those that are finished by the end of February, and then we notify the beginning of March. So that gives us plenty of time to get testing done. And we do admissions testing on our elementary homeschool kiddos as well. We will have them, that's part of the admissions process. Once an application is submitted, then we will have one of our teachers, whether it's kindergarten or 1st through 5th, will call you and get that test set up. And we are looking for a minimum score and above. So we're looking for the average to above average range. And although we're not doing curriculum with them, or they're not in class every day, they are in a classroom setting and doing curriculum. So we just want to make sure that they're able to keep up. And then some transition full time. And so it's something that we wouldn't have to go back and say, oh, they don't qualify, but we can. So it's just for ease, and hopefully to put your mind at ease too. If you've been homeschooling a while, it gives you a benchmark.
Does anybody, oh, here's another question. Do we save spots each year for kindergartners coming in?
We usually have a 5 is about our number for kindergarten, that we try to keep it at. So out of the 15 in the younger group, about 5 for kindergarten.
That's a good question. Does anybody else have questions you want to type, or just feel free to ask them out loud if you like. We would love to answer while we're here. And I know sometimes I think of questions after things are over. So please, like I said, don't hesitate to email Marion and myself, and you can reach us by phone right now too. So we'd love to talk more offline with you about any questions that you have.
Yes. Well, we are so glad you joined us, and thank you everyone for all your time. And we look forward to maybe talking to you in the next few days and seeing what we can do for next year or the year after.